Hello, friends. Thank you for joining my friend Amelia Alvarez and myself, Tom Thibodeau, at Viterbo's YouTube channel for Servant Leadership, where we hope to inform, inspire, engage, and encourage you in your good work of serving and leading others for a greater good every day. Today, we'd like to talk about connections. Thomas Friedman has written a marvelous book called Thank You for Being Late. Don't you like that title? Thank You for Being Late. And where it comes from is that Friedman is a journalist, and he meets people for breakfast, at which time he interviews them, takes the interviews, transcribes them, and then analyzes them, and from there he writes his columns as to what's happening within the framework of the country and the world. And what he's noticed over the last 10 or 15 years is that people are showing up for the interviews 10 or 15 minutes late, and people would come in and they'd be all nervous like we all are. Oh, I'm sorry for being late. And you just smile and say, thank you for being late. And people would look at him quizzically, and he said, you just gave me 15 minutes for reflection I wasn't going to have today. And then he began to think, if I have so little time for reflection, I wonder if that's what it is for everyone. And then began to look at the age of acceleration that we are living in today and began to study it. And he comes to this conclusion: living in the age of acceleration and now disruption, we all need to learn to live in the eye of the hurricane. What's in the eye of the hurricane? Calm, still, quiet. And then he asked the question, how is it that we live in the eye of the hurricane? And he said, the metaphor I'd like to give you is we live in the eye of the hurricane by becoming members of a healthy community where everyone feels connected, respected, and protected. Connected, respected, and connected. And when we are connected, protected, and respected, we build levels of trust. And when people feel trust, they grow. When people grow together, the community only becomes stronger. Connected, protected, respected. In all of our workplaces and all of our institutions, certainly here at Viterbo University the last 2.5 years, this has been our challenge, to continue to connect with our students, but to protect them and to understand that they are respected as well. Connections, a marvelous book that was written by Christakis and Fowler in 2009, began to look at the importance of connections in our lives. And I'd like to read this. The surprising power of our social networks shape our lives. A social network is a specific sort of connections between people in a group. There is this particular pattern of these ties and are often more important than individual people themselves. The ties explain why the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And when you're living in a network that is connected, protected, and respected, two things happen. One, you have a tremendous sense of belonging. You are connected to a group, over and against a number of people who feel lonely, alienated, isolated. We all need connections. And also, our social networks are contagion. They get spread through the ties. The closer the connection, the more the contagion spreads. So if you're part of a healthy community, the health and well-being of all of us is protected, respected, and connected. The Framingham Heart Study that was done in Framingham, Massachusetts, shows that over 25 years, people were asked the questions, how is your heart health? And then they were asked the relationship with their family, their friends, their neighbors, their community, their churches. The hypothesis was, the stronger our connections, the better our heart health. Well, they took all of that data, put it onto a data analysis with new computer programs allowed us, and exactly they were able to track that the stronger your connections, the stronger your heart health. Isn't extraordinary? Our connections keep us healthy. Now, 4 things that we understand about our social networks. First, we shape the networks. Consciously and unconsciously, we join groups of people, oftentimes people who are like us. From a very early age on, our parents were very concerned about the company that we would keep, the people that we would be with, understanding that the 5 people that we spent the most time with are going to help to shape our values much more succinctly and specifically than other groups. Secondly, our networks shape us. The groups that we belong to, the networks we are connected to, often help us to develop our values and our virtues, the things that we believe in. And therefore, institutions are so terribly important because each institution that we belong to helps to shape who we become. Think about it. 4-H, church youth groups, schools, service organizations, our networks shape us. The 4th rule is that our friends affect us. The people that we spend the most time with begin to affect us. Here's what's really extraordinary. If you have 4 good friends, you're 50% less likely of having a serious heart attack. Why? When we are surrounded by healthy people, we tend to imitate their habits, whether it be diet, exercise, healthy emotional contacts, as well as spiritual development. Our friends affect us, and here's what the research says that's even most important. Our friends' friends affect us. Not only am I positively affected by my good friend Emilio, I'm affected by Emilio's relationship with his wife and his children, and the people that they interact with. Father Conrad and Zoe and a number of people on our campus, people that I don't even know that they have connections with, those healthy connections affect me. Haven't we seen this during the pandemic? Not only do we have to be concerned about the people that we engage with on a daily basis, we had to be concerned with the people that they were exposed to as well. So what did families do? They formed pods in which they trusted each other to remain healthy, a bit segregated, so that they could create a healthy environment for their children. Our friends affect us. All things are connected through our social networks. But most importantly, when we find ourselves connected, protected, and respected, we build trust. The important work of servant leaders is to bring people from different perspectives together for a greater good, so that all of us may feel connected, protected, and respected. Continue to do the good work of drawing people together for a greater good. Thank you so much for listening. Peace and all good.